Turn that damn juice on!
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome in Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon, as it is going to be a great Thursday here today on the show. Not only are we going to have What to Watch presented by Bryant Technologies, we'll have a vibe check presented by Basis Health. We'll also get into who our heavy hitter is, presented by HD Roofing and Construction, as well as doing What's More Likely, presented by BetSaracen, and talking all things basketball, baseball, football, all that great stuff. But fellas, how we feeling on this nice weathered day for a change Thursday here in Arkansas?
That's how I'm feeling. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, baby. I'm feeling great. Sweep incoming.
Yeah, I'm fired up for this weekend. I really am fired up. It's pretty much Friday, right? Like, do we all agree? Like, I was thinking about it, like, as we were about to start the show, I'm like, oh wait, it's not technically. This is a Friday. Like, you know, we make it what, you know, your reality reflects your thoughts, or your thoughts reflect your reality. One of those things. If we just convince ourselves, but it really does feel like a Friday. We see the sun, which is nice. We haven't seen that in a while. We're about to see some dubs too, and we haven't seen those in consecutive order on a weekend in quite some time, but we're going to see it here this weekend. I'm fired up. I really am. Could not be more excited to get to Baum. Like, this show is just me killing time. As soon as they'll let me in, I'm getting there.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I'm with you on the Friday thing. I've been thinking all day it's been Friday. I know it's not. I know there's still some other things that have to happen, you know, tomorrow on Friday. But yeah, I think the baseball series being that way, the weather being that way, everything just makes it feel like the weekend, even though it's not. I mean, it's the low Hogs weekend too, right? A bunch of Hawaiian things going on. That's why I have a Hawaiian shirt, and who knows, maybe I'll wear it tonight to the game. Which, by the way, this is breaking news, but myself and Andrew and Curtis are all going to be at the Razorback baseball game tonight. Not all sitting together, but we will be there. We will probably interact. Maybe we'll say hi to each other. But either way, how about that? A little inside Arkansas. Yeah, a little inside Arkansas trip to Baum for Arkansas and Texas tonight. So that's exciting, man. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, man. Big series, break out the big guns. I mean, we're serious business over here. The Razorbacks are going to right this ship this weekend. It starts tonight.
Yeah,
I don't. When I'm in the house, Arkansas doesn't lose to Texas. Okay, it's not happening in a game that counts, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, well, I mean, you know, I don't know if we have that good of a history with Texas, but yeah, I like that energy. When you're in the foxhole, you need foxhole guys, and Curtis is a foxhole guy for sure. And so, I'm really excited. I'm just excited for the fan base to band together because, you know, we like to get after each other a lot, and we have reasons for doing that. And certainly, you know, if the Razorbacks start stinking it up this weekend, we'll get right back to that, and you have that uneasy feeling. But it'll be nice. I think it's going to be a Baum Walker crowd that's going to be loaded, and I think it's going to be one that's like in unison. Like, we all agree to put the guns down against each other. We're attacking the common enemy in the Longhorn. Because it's rare we can find someone that we hate more than ourselves, but we do hate Texas more than we hate ourselves.
That's right. I mean, some of the most iconic times of whether it's Nolan Richardson say, "Hey, one more time, Horns," doing it that way, or Houston Nutt. You know, after they beat him in the Cotton Bowl, it's like the one cool thing I actually like that he did, you know, doing the horns down. I think like Jalen Battles had one when they beat him. I think somebody did it behind their back in baseball. I remember like when they were about to do the national anthem. Anyways, the point is like, you just have so many iconic players that have always done the horns down. And I believe this is going to be a throwback when Arkansas beat them down in Austin in football in 2003. Dearius Howard was also known for doing the horns down, for those who may remember. So either way, it's going to be awesome. And I guess I got to address this because I'm going to be honest. I did not think that this was going to be live right now. I thought it would be something that would just kind of be eased in. But as we can see from the chat, we're offering memberships on YouTube. And it's something that we're just going to roll it out officially next week, but I didn't realize that once, you know, we get approved, it just automatically goes live. I thought that there'd be another process to it, but either way, here's the deal. It's $5 a month, and it's just a way to help, you know, support us. And we appreciate everybody who does. And it's also a way for those who get upset or get frustrated, because we have so many chats, like there's so many chats to root through. And this is a way that if you want to have your chats read, or at least be highlighted a little bit easier, this is the way to do it. So if you want to be a member, it's really easy on YouTube. Obviously, it is very easy because I see like just before we started the show, we started getting people joining, which is great. But just wanted to clarify that we're going to do some things for it, do some stuff special for it. There's nothing in that right now as far as anything set in stone, but we will have some special perks to being that. But it's something, just another way to throw it out there to have you guys involved and to have a lot more fun with it. So just wanted to clarify that. It's again, something that's required. We're not being like, all right, so we're going to cut off all the streams unless you subscribe to us. But it is something that just can really help us, help you, and give some incentive and some exclusivity to the real insiders of Arkansas that's out there.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, man. We just kind of figured this out over the course of the last hour or whatever. I'm going to try to figure out a cool way to incorporate it for the Pod of the Palace and everything. It's a good deal, and appreciate everybody for who's signing up already. And apparently, John, I don't know if you knew this or not, but like the gifted membership thing here, I guess you can, gift a certain amount or whatever. And I think it kind of just randomly, I don't know that you get to pick who you gift, right? It's just like, I'm gifting this many, and then it just kind of passes them along to certain people. We're learning as we go, everyone. This is exciting.
Yeah, I also don't want people, because I'm sure there's going to be some people that are watching this and see this going on, and they're like, wow, these guys are sellouts, man. They're going to start charging us at the door every time we step into a stream. It's really nothing like that. I hope that our explanation made sense. But yeah, it's going to be an extra thing we do, but like, it's not going to affect literally anything we do. Like we've talked about that. We've been very clear about that. Like, it's not going to affect anything that we do now. So I don't want people to see that. And even if you are a member or not, to kind of like feel weird about it, be like, oh, these guys are just trying to like start charging all this everything. It's really not going to be like that. It's not going to change anything. In fact, it's going to be cooler and make us more fun.
Yeah.
We'll also get more handsome throughout this process as well.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it goes towards all the increasing of camera work that we have and all that stuff too. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's still like, if you guys want to give super chats, you can still do that too. I mean, it's not anything that's required. We're just, again, offering options to each and every one of you that want to be a part of it, and we appreciate it. We really do, and everything that goes along with it. But yeah, we'll have some fun stuff about that, and keep you up to date on it and everything too. So. But yeah, really exciting stuff. And also, I want to mention this. I posted it yesterday on social media, but for those of you who are looking for Cinco de Mayo or Cinco de Drinko plans, we're going to be live at El Mezcal on Monday, right there off the square in Fayetteville, a new Mexican restaurant that's awesome. It's an awesome place set up for a lot of Razorback fans, and they're having a whole all-day deal when it comes to Cinco de Drinko. But just wanted to put that out there. I had to put our faces up there too, because, so that way people know who we are. But yeah, they're going to have music, street tacos, margaritas. Margaritas are amazing, and it's going to be all day. We're going to be there from noon to 2, so you can go out there for that night and all that. But wanted to pass that along because we were looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
This is by far my favorite holiday to shamelessly celebrate that I probably have no business celebrating. But yeah, love me some Cinco de Mayo, man. There's nothing better than some Mexican food, a good margarita. And I'm happy to spread the knowledge of the heritage and the tradition of the holiday there as we celebrate. I'm all for it, man.
I like this. I don't know if I've ever actually celebrated Cinco de Mayo, so I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm going to make this a thing now. Every year, I'm going to go all out for Cinco de Mayo because that's the respect it deserves, and I hope everyone will join us.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for it either, but I want to get that across. So, but we'll get to your chats, folks. We'll again get to all the other things going on in the sports world and whatnot. But, it's just still fun because obviously with Texas coming into town tonight and knowing about the feeling of, like, I was looking at some basketball stuff. Like I saw today that you had everyone's making a big deal because they try to, but like Kentucky and St. John's are playing each other officially. And everyone's like, oh, yes. Great, this is good stuff. Okay, you have Mark Pope, which a lot of people care about, but going up against Rick Pitino, St. John's, who apparently has been dubbed the national champion already next year. It's been official. I don't know if anyone knew that, but when I saw that, I was like, man, I know portal's still going on. I know the roster's still there, all that good stuff, but I'd like to have a pop for a cool game here soon. Like they can do that, right? They can work on the portal and stuff, but maybe have some sort of cool game that we have an idea of some. Maybe a possibility of one or two, but I want to have a thing where it's like, hey, you're playing Gonzaga or something. I don't know. That's what I'm hopeful for. It won't happen though.
I talked to the team. There was no team. I had to get a team. I asked for the schedule. There was no schedule. I had to get a schedule. You know the order of operations here, John. They've got to make 2 more additions to this roster before they start giving us cool game announcements over here. No, I hope so too. And I'm really anxious. And I think it's going to be here at the end of May, actually, in the next month or so. We'll at least hear who's coming to Bud Walton Arena for the SEC ACC Challenge. We'll get that one for sure. And then we'll see what they wind up doing with some of these other neutral sites, or with the Gonzaga, Baylor, some of those high profile games that we've heard some rumblings about would be pretty cool. But you know how this works, man. You ask for that, John, and eventually you'll get it. And it'll be like, hey, Arkansas will host Pepperdine on Monday, November 10th at Bud Walton Arena or something. Like, we won't get the cool stuff until the last minute.
To be fair, they're not going to do cooler than Duke on Thanksgiving Day. You know what I mean? Like, they've already gotten the big old fish out of the way. Like, it's not like they're going to be playing a bunch of bums throughout the non-conference. We at least know, and like you said, the ACC Challenge, we at least know there's something going along. But honestly, like, I think nationally, like, I'm probably going to forget that Kentucky and St. John's are playing tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. And it'll make a big deal out of it, which I don't know. I feel like that whole thing is almost like you got, it just feels like, in a way, maybe I'm overlooking this, maybe I'm thinking too much of it, but in a way, it just feels like they're still trying to be really petty and look at like in your face, Cal, look at this, where I'm like, does it really matter? Like, because it's like, oh, see, now we got the real Kentucky people are together again. Our old coach Pitino, and hey, the mean old Cal beat him in the tournament. But hey, you're still a Kentucky guy. We'll play. You'll come hang out. We'll go to Atlanta. It'll be great. It just, maybe I'm being just very bitter and petty myself, but I can't help but think that this is all just petty shots at Calipari and just trying in a very nonchalant, under the table way, but. This is just another way of being like, hey, we don't mess with those non-Kentucky people. This is for Kentucky. This is for us, instead of because this game would have never happened if Cal was here. That's the way I take it.
It's going to be the most nauseating glaze fest in the history of college basketball. It's going to be disgusting, man. I don't want anything to do with it. It's going to be a kumbaya. They're probably going to agree to before the game. It's like St. John's will wear Kentucky's uniforms. Kentucky will wear St. John's. We're all just one big happy family here. It's going to be disgusting, dude. I don't want anything to do with it.
I mean, I'm just going to say it. Should Cal go there courtside and go see his 2 sons play in the park?
He should.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously,
like, they need to be supervised.
It's Curtis. You're right. They are going to do the kumbaya thing, and they're going to be certainly circle jerking. But how are you going to do that without muttering at some point, Cal owns us. He owned both of us last year. We're here. We're turning to each other. That's how down bad Cal has us, that we're turning to each other to try and mend an ally, to form a little union. That's how Cal's got both of those programs. And I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures.
There's 2 things I would love to see Cal do. He won't do them. I know. But there's 2 things I would love to see him do, and he can at least do one of them. Number 1, I'd love for him just to be there, as you said. Like, say if he gets a courtside seat, he's just sitting there, watching. He's like, oh, no, I'm watching the game. I'm scouting. We got Kentucky later this year, and we didn't have a game, and I was coming to see a recruit here in Atlanta, and I was just hanging out. I wanted to stop by.
Leaves at halftime?
Yeah, leaves at halftime. But I've seen enough of this nonsense. Yeah, I got to get to my car, something like that. Or he puts out a video where he asked Kentucky fans, please don't boo Rick Pitino when you guys play him. This would be this is just something that you got to be better than this. But you're Kentucky Blue. Just don't boo him. I know how you're going to feel. I know what the game's going to be like, but please show the respect that the man, like if he does one of those 2 things, man, I'll dedicate my life savings to this Chicken Man account, even though he doesn't need it. But that would be a really cool thing. Hopefully he does it. He won't. Man, if he did. That'd be pretty sweet.
It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Doesn't put out a video all year, but then he just puts out that one, like in his when he's sitting at his desk with his pictures and whatnot. Yeah, that would be chef's kiss. That would be awesome. So But yeah, we got a lot of things we're going to get into. Again, all these memberships, we appreciate everybody, man. I didn't think this was going to blow up like this, but we appreciate the memberships that everyone's being a part of. And also too, real quick about the memberships, I created really specific, cool little emojis that go with it. I think you can only see them on YouTube, but like it's all faces of Razorback greats. So depending on how loyal you are, you can work yourself up to getting the all-time great picture, a little Abby. So just throwing it out there for all of you too.
You got Rohan Gaines right now. He's got that Rohan Gaines on their membership. That's the first level.
Yep, that's who I put out there is Rohan Gaines. Yes, absolutely. But we'll get into a few of those chats, but let's get into what to watch for, presented by our friends over at Bryant Technologies, where they are doing it all when it comes to network and security services. And they have the highest quality network infrastructure and security camera solutions to make sure that you get every part of your business and every part of your home safe, sound, and secure, and keeping you connected. Whether it's structured cabling, security camera installations, digital signage, or TV mounting, Bryant Technologies has you all covered, and they service the entire state of Arkansas as well as all of the Arkansas bordering states. Have Bryant Technologies help you with all of your network and security needs, where you can give them a call today at 870-883-0330, or check out their website at bryantstechnologies.com with an S, bryantstechnologies.com. It's Bryant Technologies, quality work guaranteed. And what to watch for, honestly, is going to be Razorback baseball tonight. 6 o'clock will be first pitch. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock. And actually, Andrew, what time is the game Saturday? 2 o'clock. Okay. The only like Saturday looks like it's going to be great. Today's going to look like it's going to be great. Tomorrow's game, though, weather-wise, could get a little bit dicey. But hopefully, I guess if that was the case, they would try to play a doubleheader on Saturday and move it to that.
Yeah, but I feel like we're going to be all right, though, right?
I think so.
But yeah, they could do a doubleheader Saturday. They just can't play on Sunday. They can't do anything on Sunday. Got it all, cram it all in. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, but we're praying the good Lord lets us play 3 normal linked baseball games at their scheduled time, and we can all just be happy.
That's what I'm hoping for, because I feel like it's been a long time since we've had one of those things that's happened. But either way, that's definitely something to watch for tonight. And of course, the rest of the time too. I saw also that they're doing the Coach Cal satellite camp. I wanted to bring this up because it's another thing to watch. They just put it out for the registration for www.coachcalipari.camps.com. So there's your website there for more information. But it's going to be happening in the month of June, early June, where I love that they're having the first one in Lincoln. That's great stuff, man. Lincoln, Arkansas. You got that on the 2nd of June. Van Buren is on the 3rd. Eureka Springs on the 4th. As well as Harrison on the 4th. You got Bentonville West on the 5th, Salem Springs in the 5th, Alma on the 9th, and Russellville on the 10th. So you have the satellite camps going on there for
is that the road show or the is that the road show you're talking about?
No. This is actually just Coach Cal camps, his actual camps. The road show is going to different places too. That's a different thing, but yeah, this is going to be happening, which I'll be honest, I was looking at some of the information on that stuff. How cool would that be if you were a kid these days to like go to a Coach Cal camp and have, a guy that's coached NBA greats and all-stars and MVPs, and just you're hanging out there one day in Siloam Springs, and all of a sudden Coach Calipari walks in and is like, "Hey kid, here's what you need to work on." And it'd be like, "Oh my goodness gracious, I would lose my mind." So but yeah, that's a really cool thing, and I'm glad he does that. I'm glad he's doing that, and also the road shows too, which you brought up. Because they have one in Memphis this year, and Cal's going to that one. So I was like, at
a brewery.
Yeah.
Over there. I saw, yeah.
So
I like to step on Penny's turf. Let him know. Stop ducking the game, bro.
Man, that game needs that.
I like that. From what we've heard, and I don't know if this is the same thing as Cal's weird camp that he does, but apparently it's star-studded events at some of those Coach Cal summer camp things. Yeah. Right? You remember we were talking to Z about that?
Yep.
Yeah, like people from all over the world, literally. They'll
like
bring their kids or whatever, but
Ohio State was there.
yeah, exactly. And then I know he'll do the like the fantasy camp thing or whatever.
That's what I'm thinking
of. Yeah, and he's got like grown adult millionaires who come from like New York or like all over the country, whatever, or will come from Lexington they go to it every year and just get to come and put on a Razorback jersey and get after it.
I'm curious where does that money go? Because it's expensive to go to, and you said millionaires, and they come from all over. So I believe it goes to, like, those people wouldn't do it unless it was supporting something because they're friends with Cal. So is it going towards his NIL budget? Is it going towards, something for charity that he appreciates? Is it going to the Catholic Church? I don't know, but I'd be curious because it is pretty pricey to get into that. And obviously it's worth it because you have a lot of people that do it. And so I'm just wondering, is that help with NIL? What does that go towards? That's immediately when my mind goes, but I'm not sure. It'll be cool though. I'd like to go, once we become millionaires, we can sign up and go to his camp and put on a show for them.
I would be giving those dudes buckets in there. Guaranteed.
They'd remember you. That lawyer from Pittsburgh would never recover, bro.
Yeah.
I really hope
to be here. Yeah.
I hope a brawl would break out, like just a Malice at the Palace type of thing, but it's the basketball palace.
Cal might be pissed at you though, because then none of the cool people would want to. They'd be like, "Hey man, we're going to John Shire's camp this summer, man. Sorry."
Yeah. I wouldn't be the try hard, that was just trying to take every shot and try to win the MVP of the thing. But I would go out of my way to be very fundamentally sound and savvy. Really set my man up for some screens and get my feet set. The footwork would be right. Always in triple threat position. I would follow the rules, and they'd be like, "Hey, we're going to use this guy as an example of what we're looking for here." That's what it would be.
See, I feel like
charge.
Yeah. I feel like I'd get kicked out because I want to talk trash in a fun way, and somebody would take it too seriously. There's always that one guy that takes everything too seriously, and that would probably happen there too. But it'll happen once. Yeah, they should do a camp. Does Dave, I was curious, does Dave Van Horn do any camps type stuff? I think he does.
He does, but honestly, dude, like in the summer, like I went to Arkansas baseball camp and I didn't see Dave Van Horn. He came and spoke to us for like 12 seconds at the beginning and then was like, "All right, grad assistants, go ahead." Like it's usually they have a bunch of camps that are very easy to go to, but it's like one assistant coach and one fourth year senior that's never going to play. Like no disrespect. You know who actually did mine? Tim Carver did mine the year before he made that play in Omaha. But like at that point, he was like a redshirt freshman who had never done anything. But I remember like thinking he was the man.
I'm gonna have to bring that up to him. I'm gonna save that clip and send it to him now that he's the Springdale High high school baseball coach. For those that don't know, I was friends and I graduated high school with Tim Carver, and I still laugh every time I see that play he made it in that 2009 World Series. I'm like, dude, this is the guy that me and him listen to the Eminem Show album like all the time going to lunch, and he's over here making plays in the College World Series. It's like I can't even take it seriously, but either way. Yeah, it's gonna be great though. For I know for the camps. And speaking of that road show, guys, have you guys ever been to one of those? I'm curious. You probably haven't, but I'm just asking. Have you ever been to one of the road show deals? So I had to go. I was required by my place of employment once when I was in Fort Smith, and I went and. It was the year that Chad Morris was head coach, but I don't think he was there. It was some other people. And it is a cool idea because I do think it's cool to have, going out there and trying to get everybody involved with the community and going across the state and all of that. But I don't know. I think it always depends on who's going to be there. That makes it the most fascinating. And I bet you anything that the ones that Coach Cal is going to be attending is probably going to be the higher attended ones. I'm sure all of them will have some attendance, but because I think Jordan Weaver's going to one. The new women's coach music is going to a few. Sam Pittman's going to a few.
Which one is music going to?
I believe. Actually, I should pull that up. She's going to actually a lot of them. Like probably more than any other coach. Just to I would assume get her name out there and let everybody know it's like, hey, I am this person, and I do things here. But either way, it's a cool thing if you want to see Razorback coaches and all of that. But do you know how happy like Dave Van Horn is that they always do it during spring where he doesn't have to be there? He's like, yeah, that's good. Hopefully he's like, I don't have to do the road show for any of that stuff. So, but anyways, my point is that if you go to it, it's cool. At least go to it once if it's in your city and whatever. But I don't know what you would be expecting if you're just a common fan, like walking in there. I said it on my podcast though, guys. It's your chance to get to talk to your 100-year check and be like, here's what I got. Here's my problems that I have with you, buddy. Because I'm sure he would love that, and he'd love to be called out for it. But
when are we going to get some changes, man?
Yeah. It's just like where's all that money we spent on Slobber Hog? Like, well, that was NIL money. Where'd it go? I can't. I love that. So please go and talk to 100-year check and let him know that's going to be happening. By the way, back to your Coach Music. She's going to be at Bentonville on May 12th, as well as Batesville on May 12th. She will also be at Memphis with Coach Cal. That'll be pretty cool. And
same
then also
day, they're going from Bentonville to Batesville same day.
Yeah, they have a lunch event and a dinner event or an evening event. So yeah, they go to 2 different places. But you'll also be at the Little Rock one down there at Fassler, which is really cool, and all that. So yeah, Stuttgart, they have one down there at Stuttgart. But it's funny, Stuttgart, all they get is Eurocheck. That's the only one there. So that's when y'all have your time to focus in on him and to get after him. So make that happen, folks, and let him know. So that way we don't have to tell him. You can tell him. You can tell him personally. I'm sure he loves that. So, but there's a little what to watch for action. All right, we'll get into the chat, folks, and it is presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the game, changing the way that Medicare and healthcare is happening for you, and it's delivered straight to your door. It's mobile medical visits. That's what they do. They come to your home, so you don't have to worry about waiting in a doctor's office, which is the worst thing ever. And they do it for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. They are here when you need them and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today, and appreciate our guy Dre for making it possible. So, all right, we'll get to the chat. Man, a lot of these membership things, it's going to throw me off. It's going to take some getting used to. I was not expecting this to happen, but we appreciate it. In fact, we're going to give shout outs to like Logan gifting 10 Inside Arkansas memberships. Thanks, Logan.
One of those went
nice,
to Ozzy, by the way.
Yeah,
apparently it just randomly distributes. But I saw he was one of the first.
Yeah. That was one of the things I wasn't aware of, that you could gift. Shows how much I got to learn about this. But either way, shout out to him. Shout out to Corey Dubs, also gifting 5 Inside Arkansas, as well as Sharkansas. Okay, appreciate you.
Very cool, man.
Fishman doing the same thing. Logan's doing 10 more. Okay, Logan, settle down, relax.
How many people listen to this show? We gotta.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He's the one that's helping out the masses here too. But our girl Katie, she just gave $5 in the super chat. So thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
And I actually know Katie. She works at a place that I often go to, and she's really cool and fun. So she loves sports and she loves watching. So shout out to her. She's pretty cool. So, all right, now we'll get to some of your chats here too. Joy to the World, our Kentucky fan. She goes, nice, thanks. You're welcome.
Oh.
You're welcome for you paying us money for being a membership.
I guess she might have been one of the gifted ones.
She got gifted because I saw earlier she was like, I feel a little guilty.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. I thought she was saying thanks to us as in like the membership. I'm like, you're welcome, of course.
I was thinking about those donuts the other day, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to Joy to the World. I don't remember the name of that place, but I do remember the miscellaneous assorted box of donuts that we got there. It's pretty good.
Dude, we still have money left, on that gift card she gave us. So
we'll be back.
May have to check it out, and when we go to Lexington next time, and make that happen. So it was called North Lime Coffee and Donuts. So
yes.
Wanted to throw that out there too. But appreciate you, Joy. David says now John has to like the chat.
Yeah, this is the biggest adjustment's going to be for you, man. You got.
I guess I need to stop being so stereotypical. When I say the chat like it's a cesspool, I'm not talking about like everybody in there is a cesspool. I'm talking about when you start having some troll in there and people start arguing with them, and then it just floods the responses where we're trying to get to real people having real discussions about what we're talking about. And instead, y'all are arguing about whether or not Carter Knox can play guard or forward. I'm like, it's just like, stop. That's what I'm referring to. Not people like you, David. You're nice. But I guess I got to maybe I'll start doing like all you non-members or cesspool of the chat. Maybe that's the approach you got to take.
Crazy. We're segregating our fan base here. This is nuts, man. This is wild.
That's what Arkansas is doing. Yeah, that's what Arkansas is doing. Might as well join the club, right? Let's see. Also, OKC Hog, I like the logo, by the way. He says, "Hear me out. Thero is still hurt, like he's not 100%. So if he doesn't perform well in the draft combine, could he come back?"
He could come back. He's not going to. It's pretty much the consensus there, because a lot of people were asking the question, and we had that discussion the other day when he sent out the Instagram tribute or whatever. It's like, is he reminiscing a little bit? Is he homesick? But he can come back. Like it's people are always like, oh, did he hire this agent or that agent? The NCAA approved or whatever. He's got that option. No, not a single person at the University of Arkansas expects that to happen, though. That's kind of where we're at with it. I think he's got a pretty good idea of where his stock is. And he's also, as a third-year guy who just had the breakout season that everybody's kind of been waiting for him to have, he's probably kind of being encouraged by guys like Cal to, hey, like your stock is up there right now. You know what I mean? But yeah, like if he had a setback or the stock tanked or whatever, the beauty of stuff like that is he's not one of those guys. He didn't do the boogie thing, right? To where he hit the portal and he's got all of his options open or whatever. It's pro, which I think is like 99% the likelihood here. But if he didn't want to do that, he's only got one option, and it would be coming back to Arkansas.
I would love to see it. I mean, it's just at this point too, where whether it's Carter Knox, whether it's a Duthero, just if they either one of them, which obviously I feel better about Knox coming back, but if just one of them said that they were coming back, I'd be like, championship. Get tickets to, what is it, Indianapolis, right? Final Four is there, Indianapolis. So yeah, that's all it would take.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, it would be electric. I don't want anybody to have their hopes up there.
No, it's not likely. So don't get all crazy, but it would be cool if it happened. Finch just said, just signed up my son for the Austin Reeves camp at Jonesboro since the Hogs are unfortunately ducking East Arkansas with their camps. Sheesh.
Well, Austin Reeves has plenty of time now to prep for that tournament because he just got eliminated from the postseason.
I want to say that they're locked to a certain square mileage away from campus that they're allowed to do those camps. Like I don't think they're purposely ducking them. I don't think they can actually go all the way over there to do it. And if you give me in a couple minutes, I'll verify that. But I'm pretty sure that's the case.
No. Yeah, because I sincerely doubt. Well, hold on a second. Like when he says East Arkansas, I mean Memphis, right? Or no, that's the road show. Sorry, I'm thinking of the road show. Sorry, my bad.
Dorito Springs is like the farthest they can go, I guess.
Yeah. But that sounds right, though. That does sound right. Good.
Yeah. So, and this is from Riley Hall over there, who coordinates a lot of that stuff. Because I thought I saw him put this on Twitter. Because Steve Sullivan said, love the camps, wish they could do one or two outside of Northwest Arkansas. And he responded, he said, completely agree. As a Central Arkansas native, I would have loved these growing up. Unfortunately, the NCAA will only allow us to do a satellite camp within 100 miles of campus. So that's what it is. So you're right. They can't go over there, but it's not a purposeful thing.
Hey, listen, the NCAA is dead. Okay. Just do it. What are they going to do to you, Cal? What are they going to do?
They're on the ventilator. Like they're on life support, man.
Yeah. Could you imagine? It's like we have banned Arkansas from postseason play with John Calipari because he went out to Jonesboro for a camp to help out kids. It's like, yeah, exactly. Let's see if that holds up in court. But okay, well, good to know though. So I'm glad that message got across. Caden says, my buddy and his fiance are going to the Hog Pen Friday night, but she's a Texas fan and going to be wearing orange. Caden,
she's going to get in trouble. You're going to get stuff thrown at your girl, or he's going to get stuff thrown at his girl, and it's going to be an issue.
I want everybody to have a good experience.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm Caden. I'm saying this like I'm not joking or being over dramatic. I'm serious. If she just sits there and doesn't do anything as a Texas fan wearing orange, she will get stuff said to her. The things be like talking trash. But if she even cheers or anything, like I'm serious, you may have to call security to get her out of there. It may have to be like, because not to say that anything gets violent, but things get said. Some liquid courage starts happening, beers start flowing. All it takes is you talking some noise, and then you got old Aloy hitting a 400-foot piss missile, and they're going to come right at her. So we're doing this out of love and trying to help out your fiance. Don't do it. So that's all I got.
I mean, that's the nightmare scenario. Like we all kind of understand if you're with your girl and someone says something to her, someone throws something at her, someone puts hands on her, whatever. Like you have to be ready to fight right there. Nobody wants to be in that situation. I don't think. Maybe there are some people that just are waiting for it. For the guy walking in there, pretty much knowing I'm gonna end up having to fight a Razorback fan, like that sucks.
Yeah, and it seems like it's kind of I think Razorback fans are typically pretty hospitable, but it's like a Texas thing. It really is.
Yeah.
If you want context, go listen to our football Texas post game show. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
as I was just brought up all PTSD from that day.
just a heads up, Caden.
Yeah, that's a rough one. We hate Texas and Arkansas, and even if you're the nicest person, you could be out there. You could be Mother Teresa, and if you got that burnt orange, people are throwing expletives at you. It's just going to happen. So,
and you make a good point that like if you don't say anything, you can maybe get by. If you like even clap, you're toast.
Yeah.
you're in trouble. You were being obnoxious.
And to give a story background to this, I was actually just out in the hog pen talking to some friends of mine, and when they played A&M, and there was an Aggie fan out there, student, and he was going crazy when they hit a home run, which was one of the whatever that guy was, Lafayette or whatever his name was. But he was that guy. It was like one of his 8 home runs that he hit, and this guy was just standing up, just yelling at everybody, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" And things just got really hairy. So that was 2 weeks ago. So just saying, like, it wasn't just a one-time instance. It happened. So just be careful. And that was also the worst chant ever. "Who's your daddy?" It's like, that is the most aggy thing to say. Come on,
better than that.
Yeah, got to do better than that. Chris Sullivan says, "I'm disappointed in the football and basketball roster for next season. Am I wrong for feeling like we could do better overall?"
I wouldn't. Well, these are 2 very different situations.
Actually, you gotta clarify. Like, you can be disappointed in both, but like football, like a way different.
Here's what I'll say. The last part of that, am I wrong for feeling like we could do better overall? Absolutely not. You're not wrong at all. Disappointed is a very, very strong take for the basketball roster. Football, maybe not so much. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I mean, to each their own, but
they could have maybe done a little bit more, but really, I don't think they could have gone out and had a significantly better roster. Whereas with basketball, there's no reason Arkansas can't have the literal best roster in the country. And that's just, I mean, as much as we'd like to pretend, it's really not true in football. Like you have to, you don't just become number one overnight. Basketball, Arkansas realistically could, and they're going to have a top 10 roster in the country. But like, I think that you're definitely not wrong for thinking there should be a couple more moves, and there probably will be a couple more moves.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. It's like you can be disappointed in football, but basketball is what it is. But the only thing about football is anybody that, like, I want to make sure it's clear that this team for football in the roster, who knows? Maybe they shock the world. Maybe they end up being great. Maybe they play better as a team. Maybe you got better experience. Whatever. There could be some possibilities, but we only know what we know. And on paper, what we know is that this roster, compared to what it was a year ago, is not as good overall. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. And that's not saying that it's just doom and gloom and it has no chance of being good. It's just, we know what we know. So I get it. I feel like if you're not disappointed in the football roster and where it stands right now, I'd like to know why. I'd like to know where your head's at as far as why you think so highly of it. But yeah.
Are we a little concerned, or like, I don't know, like my eyebrow is raised about what's going on at wide receiver? Maybe I'm overthinking this, but they went out in the portal and got like a half dozen or something guys, and they knew they needed that. And they have a bunch back, and I think they were like 2, 3, maybe even 4 over where you typically are from a scholarship standpoint at the position. I know they had a guy or 2 who left, but like I say, they've gone and added another receiver, and they've had multiple others visit. It looks like they might add another one. I mean, is there? I just wonder if there's something that we don't know about in terms of like, is someone leaving or injured, or did they just really miss on some of these guys and they feel like they need more? It just seems really weird to me that that's where they're adding so many guys here in the spring window. I don't know. Maybe I might be overthinking it, but it just seems odd.
Perhaps this is a negative lens to view this through, but I have a hard time not picturing it as a direct reflection of them getting into spring practice, not liking what they saw at wide receiver and realizing they needed more. Because literally the practice right before they opened spring practice, Sam said, "We're done on offense. We are not adding any more players." And then a week later, they offered a random receiver that ended up being a nothing thing. But the fact that they even sent out that offer was our first inkling that, hey, something changed here. We also, didn't hear much about Courtney Crutchfield. Omega Blake, I heard, got off to a slow start. And so it's like, it kind of matched what we were hearing behind closed doors as well about this. I mean, that Raylan Sharp was wide receiver 1 in the spring. And so it's hard for me not to view this as a direct response. They also did the thing a few different times. I can't remember the kid's name from Alabama who was like a receiver they really wanted. I think they even got him on a visit, and they ended up getting they ended up getting other guys, which is, not a big deal. That happened again here with the DeJounte Cook. They were kind of after DeJounte Cook, ended up getting the other guy, and it's like not a big deal, but I think that there's been a lot of that at receiver, and the fact that they're still trying to scramble and add guys tells you a little bit about how they feel, because they're not doing that at positions they feel good about. They feel good about running back, believe it or not. I think they even feel good about O-line. But D-line, secondary, wide receiver, those are the spots they're still offering guys to this day. And I think that tells you what they think about those positions.
See, that's what I think is like actions will always speak louder than words, especially when it comes to coaches and how they speak. And no matter what, if you're out here saying, we're good on offense, but yet you're going and trying to add wide receivers, there's nothing you can say or do that will convince me otherwise that you need wide receivers because you need help there, because there's something going on. You don't go and say we're fine on offense. If you would have said, we need, we probably want to add some a wide receiver or two for depth, then maybe it still is okay to say, hey, I feel good about the wide receivers. But you're saying, hey, we're good there. Now you're trying to add guys that you hope can actually help out. It is concerning to me. And the main thing that I look at and what it could be is I know that it is a complicated thing to be a wide receiver for Bobby Petrino. If you don't believe me, ask Jarius Wright, Joe, all those guys talk about how insanely intricate and detailed it has to be. I could see it to where, hey, some of these guys may be athletic. Some of these guys may be able to catch. Some of these guys may be really good, but trying to get acclimated to what it is in this new offense may be hurting them. Or maybe they just are whiffing on some guys where it's like, oh, okay, well, this guy's not as good as what we were hoping he would be. This guy has a lot of work to do, and we're after spring now. We got fall camp, and we can't be going into fall camp with a bunch of wide receivers that have no idea what they're doing or can't catch the ball. So
yeah,
I look at it as nothing but a negative, but it's concerning to see the type of route they're taking.
It's strange. It's just strange to me to go from we don't feel like we need anything on offense to a couple weeks into spring being like, we might be looking at receiver, then to again being like, like a defense, we got to get our numbers up and everything. And we feel good on the other end. And then you're going to bring in like 3 receivers in the spring window. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, and it's funny is like they had I guess Quentin Murphy, ends up transferring out. He's a receiver that's leaving. We looked at this thing. We said, hey, they're over the scholarship limit at receiver. They got to process some guys. So when he moved, it made sense. Whenever you had the Jace Brown kid from California, he ends up not coming. That actually helps. The fact that you're adding on top of it means that even though you did what you were supposed to do, which was cut down on the numbers, you still feel like you need guys. Jordan Anthony not being there as well. And so, like, I get if it's like, hey, maybe you want to add just one guy to replace the spot for the 3 guys that really weren't going to play that all left. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're still looking for guys that can contribute at receiver, because I think there's very much concern about whether or not some of these guys, the Stanford kid who has like 250 yards in his career, CC, he's been like the most stable one I've been hearing about. Like they're like, oh yeah, we feel great about him. And I'm like, well, that's, that's a little bit tough whenever you had a 3rd round pick at receiver and Andrew Armstrong who led the conference.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a difference too. In fact, Ryan here says, okay, well, what position do they look at and say, yep, we're happy with that position? I don't know if he's asking us or in general, but
quarterback now.
Yeah.
Now that they got another depth.
Yeah. But yes, quarterback.
But I agree. Yeah. Quarterback.
Honestly, as weird as it is, I feel good at linebacker because, like, not saying that it's like, the best position group, but I at least know what I'm getting with Xavier Sori. And I think he was a good player and it had some depth there. I'm not saying, again, feeling good about it as in I'm happy, but it's okay.
It's Xavier Story, Steven Dix, and then nobody who's contributed in a meaningful way. And so I think that they're bringing in a linebacker on a visit actually, from UCF. I think he was a linebacker that I saw. So maybe they're trying to add a little bit there, but yeah, I definitely like what they have at the top. Secondary, they got a bunch of bodies. I just, we'll see. They still need some, a guy or two to really emerge there, but might be a little bit better, but to your point, Ryan, I don't know how many of those spots I look at and think, oh yeah, like they're low key stacked over there,
Yeah, and running back, me personally, I'm not crazy about the running back room. Like AJ Green is a 4-year guy. We've seen I don't think he's a top 2 running back in the SEC. Braylon Russell, I like the idea. Also inexperienced, and I believe he's been banged up a lot. Mike Washington averaged 4 yards a carry at New Mexico State. I don't know, like it's not the craziest running back room, but they seem, at least from what we're seeing with all the moves they're making, I don't think they're looking to add a running back. Like I think even with Juju Pope transferring out, and Tyrell Reed, I think those guys transferring out is because they actually feel good about what they have at running back. It's not a super deep room. I mean, Rodney Hill's basically your 4th guy, and who knows what he's going to be able to give you. But I think they like the 4 guys, and that's who they're rolling with. And we can talk about whether that's a good decision or not, but I don't see them going out and bringing in a bunch of running backs on visits. Ever since they got Mike Washington and Braylon Russell came back, they've been set there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also looking at the secondary too. First off, I keep forgetting Jaheim Singletary's still on the team. He's just one of those players that I remember talking a lot about, but he's still there. So, at least you got experience there. Miguel Mitchell, still a guy played a little bit last year. But yeah, you're talking about the Quintavious Scandrett, which is still a great name. I know that they were excited about him. Yeah, they were excited about him coming in. And but even a guy like Selman Bridges, who entered in the portal but then got back out. He was a true freshman last year, but maybe he's somebody that can take that next step and help out, because it's about depth more than anything in the secondary. And you lost a lot.
Yeah, I know that the secondary was the culprits in a lot of cases on the missed tackle front. Which was a problem for Arkansas. So that's an area that they're going to have to get a lot better, but it's not going to take a whole hell of a lot to improve in the secondary. Yeah. It was the worst pass defense in the league. So, I mean, even if they went from just being awful to bad, you know what I mean? Yeah. It would be an upgrade there. And I think that they probably, I say that I would hope that they've at least done that.
Yeah, I would too. Also, Big KG, I need to check. He said, also On3 just reported that Arkansas Edge is pursuing Madden for double the amount he was paid at Arkansas, by the way, to help pay for the damages Arkansas Edge has received due to him leaving. Just to clarify on that, I think they're not pursuing double the amount of what he was paid. They're pursuing half the amount of what was owed in the buyout, which is he was paid $100,000 with $400,000 still owed. But since he broke the contract says 50% of that is owed back to the school. It's $200,000. That's my understanding. So,
which does happen to be double the amount. But
right. Yeah, but it's important to know that it's not like they're saying hey, we're just wanting double for the sake of wanting double. It's what's kind of
damages have been done other than obviously the money that they owed him or whatever, or that he owes them. But outside of that,
yeah, exactly.
I was thinking about this too, and some of it could be damages from the standpoint of you gave all these reps in the spring to him instead of your other guys. And I don't know how you could put a monetary value on that, but I don't know how you put a monetary value on a lot of those, the pain and suffering that people are being sued for in particular things. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. I didn't know if there was new reporting on that or not. I haven't looked at On3 today.
Yeah, so. Maybe you add the roster spot, the fact that they didn't, recruit another quarterback, the reps they gave out. Maybe you just add it all together. But I feel like that's all this that we're talking about is really what the buyout is for, the paying the remaining, because that's really what they're after. Which, by the way, $200,000 should be more than enough.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now from Andy Staples on On3, and I assume this is what he's talking about because this came out 4 hours ago.
Okay.
It said that though most college football fans who haven't attended law school may be unfamiliar with the phrase liquidated damages, the concept plays a major role in sports discourse. Every time we discuss a football coach's buyout, we're talking about the liquidated damages clause in the coach's contract. The moment a coach's seat starts burning slightly, we dive into their deals and find the liquidated damages section and report what it'll cost to fire said coach. Or conversely, the moment a coach at a less prestigious school starts winning big, we find that section to learn how much a school higher on the food chain will have to pay that coach's current employer to get him away. So essentially, it's just buyouts is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm seeing this now, and towards the end of the story, it says the liquidated damages aren't necessarily limited to what the player has already been paid. The amount Arkansas Edge seeks is more than twice what Iamaleava has been paid.
Gotcha. Okay.
The reason for that is it is an estimate of how much damage the player breaching the contract would do to Arkansas Edge. This could include the cost of trying to find another quarterback, Costs associated with the coaching Iamaleava received while at Arkansas, and any money-making opportunities lost because Iamaleava is not in Fayetteville playing QB. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I wonder how that's I don't know who it is. I forget who it is that's representing Iamaleava, but I wonder how successful they're going to be in this adventure.
Yeah. Big pages. I mean, dude, honestly, like we've been live for an hour. We haven't been reading the stories, so we got you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah. Because I was sitting there, I was like, thinking about, like, we had Brand Marceau on yesterday, and then thinking about, you know, the approach. And that was one of the things that I thought about when it was about, okay, how far is it going to go? Or, you know, how much you're going to press it? It's like, well, they hired Tom Marr. So it's like, obviously Arkansas is very serious about it. And Brand Marceau mentioned the at least for Desmond James, but you know, him and who he hired for his representation is also a very well-known and serious person. And Brand Marceau even said that from what he understands, Madden as well as Desmond, like they're going to fight it tooth and nail to the end. And so that's what is really going to, it's basically playing a game of chicken. Who's got the bigger balls here, and who's going to be, is it a university, a major higher of education is going to go after a couple players that probably were going to play somewhat, maybe not at all, and fight it in the courts? Or is it going to be the players over there? I think it's all just the players are calling them their bluff and saying, all right, come after us, because y'all are going to look bad. Y'all are going to have a lot of cost, and we're just little old college kids over here. I think that's what they're doing.
You want to talk about damages? Damages would be the way this would look if Arkansas really is like, if this becomes, I'm surprised more people honestly nationally aren't talking about this, because this is kind of like, what happens here is going to set a precedent. I don't know if you necessarily want to be the school in the NIL era who like is suing kids.
Yeah,
but I understand why the Edge is doing it, obviously, and we support them. But it's like I think that's why the players, to your point, are kind of calling that bluff.
Well, whose court is this going to go to?
Washington County.
Okay.
At least that's what Brandon Marceau was saying. Like, it'd be in Washington County, so which be funny. We'd have to do a live stream outside of the courthouse, guys, if that ends up happening. And do a
live recording.
I'm sure they're so equipped for one of the biggest national stories in the history of collegiate athletics. It's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a disaster.
Crazy. That'll be fun though. I hope it happens this summer. That could be give us a good summer story.
The live reporting would be a lot of fun. Like,
oh man. It would be great. Like, who would ESPN? I don't even know who like their main like reporter is for college football, but who would be, you know, down there in Fayetteville, be like, yeah, Tom, I'm here in front of the courthouse. Nothing really happened yet, but the judge was a little late. He had to take care of the farm this morning. And it's just like, who is it going to be? And how crazy could it be?
John, you know who it'll be. It'll be, I'm Marty Smith. I'm from the South, and I'm here in Arkansas. I'm in the South now.
It will be Marty. It'll be Marty. He'll fit right in with that. Man. That'd be awesome. We need that. Let's make that happen. Let's get some court stuff going on.
The defense calls Sam Pittman to the stand.
Who would be the funniest person that they would realistically could call to the stand? Like, who would be involved in
Remy
all?
Cofield. This would be the first time we ever see Remy Cofield. We're like, oh, he does exist.
Yes. Yeah, Remy Cofield, or actually between him or getting Bobby Petrino up there.
Bobby would be, I mean, he was because that's all Sam would do was deflect it, man. He'd be like, Remy, I sent him down the hall to talk to Remy, and Bobby recruited him now. So.
Dude, they would play the video of Bobby at the press conference. And they'd be like, this is how we feud Madden while he was on campus. This should this should tell you how much we thought of the young man.
Or again, I'm just trying to think of the most absurd stuff if it was Bobby, and like, say if he doesn't want to say anything, he's like pleading the fifth, you know, like and they ask him questions. I exercise my Fifth Amendment right to not answer. It's like, okay, great. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you. But,
man, I sadly hope this happens now.
Me too. It'd be good for summer content. Hey, we need some summer content. That'd be good stuff.
Do not settle. Yeah, let's get weird.
Yeah. Let's have the courthouses out there. So we'll have all the people like, Feinbaum will be doing live shows outside of it. It'll be doing down on Dixon Street. It'll be great, man. It'll be great. All right. So let's keep it moving here on the show. We'll get to more of your chats here in just a little bit, folks. But we got to talk about who our heavy hitters are today here on the show. And it's presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction, where storms it was nasty yesterday. It was a bad time. And Curtis, I know you mentioned it yesterday. The roof getting inspected.
Getting inspected here at some point in the near future today. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. And it's HD Roofing doing it because that's what they do. They care, and they want to give you those free inspections to make sure that you know that your roof is safe, that you're not going to have to worry about any storms coming in and having leaks or anything like that. They're going to take care of you because when you choose them, you can rely on that professionalism, that top quality materials that they're going to be using, as well as expert installation for all of your roofing needs. So you can give them a call today at 501-428-0429. You can also check out their website at hdarkansas.com. It is HD Roofing and Construction, talking about who our heavy hitters are today.
I mean, Garrett, he's like Santa Claus today. He's just walking around on the roofs of everyone in Fayetteville. He's probably skipping the chimney part, but he's doing that all day, and then he's gonna be at the baseball game tonight. So we gotta catch up with Garrett. I had to give him a shout out before we got started here. But he was gonna be up there now, and he texted me a little bit earlier and was like, "Yeah, I got some of my other appointments got moved around today." He was like, "Why don't I come a little bit later? That way I'm not stomping around on your roof while you guys are live." And I'm like, "I don't care, but sure." So
yeah,
it would have been good for this segment.
And you know what? Customer service right there. Know you got something going on. I'm not going to be up there stomping around, man. It's good people over there. You know what you're getting.
Yep. They're going to help you out, and they're going to come around and be flexible for you too, which is just a random question before we get into it. Have you guys ever actually been on a roof? And if so, how many times?
A couple times, like 3 or 4.
I've worked roofing as a summer job before. So,
I mean,
high school, it was not fun. No.
I will give a shout out to everybody who, especially our friends at HD Roofing, who does all that. But I cannot imagine a more difficult thing to do than to be doing roofs in the middle of a summer, because it's not like roofs have shade because it's a roof. Yeah. It's like it doesn't have shade. So I could not imagine doing that, man. But hey, somebody's got to do it. And HD Roofing is the one to do it for you. So I'll go ahead and start off with my heavy hitter. I just like stories like this, and especially since this guy kind of looks funny. But how about Ian Shefflin? Yeah, the Clemson guy, right?
This is a good one.
Yeah, man. He is. So we know he played at Clemson. He's playing basketball, and there was some reports flying around that he was going to try to, continue to play and everything because he ran out of eligibility. Well, what's he doing instead? Well, according to reports from On3, he's joining the Clemson football team. He is getting recruited by Dabo, and he is going to continue on with his collegiate education and also go with his athleticism as a football player and trying to get out there and get it done. So, hey, when push comes to shove, when worse comes to worse, just change sports and you can continue to play on. But I like stories like this. I love seeing whenever players do multi-sports in general because I feel like it's a lost art. But something like this is going to make it really interesting to see, does he play at all? Does he fit at all? Whatever it is. But I don't know, guys, like football and baseball, sports, when they play together, it's cool, but it's not uncommon. I feel like when you had football and basketball, that's a very unique deal and can either be like incredible or just somebody that's on the roster. But I'm really rooting for him.
Especially when it's the basketball player going to play football.
Yes.
That seems a little bit more of a rarity. Shout out Trey Wade. You guys remember that when he hooped and all of a sudden he was, what was it? The Cardinals. I think he was in the summer camp with or whatever. But Ian Shefflin, did you might have just said it out loud. And if you did, I apologize, but did they say what position he's going to play?
Well, they apparently are looking for a tight end.
Well, he's 6'8", 240.
It's always a tight end, bro. That's what's funny is there's been a decent amount of college basketball players play tight end, but it's in the NFL. You never see it in college. Draymond did that one thing at Michigan State. Did a spring practice, but nobody, you really don't see that much. It's a lot of the Mo Ali Cox and Jimmy Graham. You remember he was one of the big ones. Antonio Gates, I feel like was a college basketball player. The basketball to tight end pipeline, we usually only see that in the pros. Good to see a college get in front of it. Might as well.
I'm anxious to see what this looks like, and he looks like a football player. And we were in Providence. He's an exciting white, by the way. But we were in Providence, and John and I walked in right before Arkansas played. I guess it would have been Kansas. because they were getting beat, by McNeese and Will Wade. They were getting the hell beat out of them. And we were standing right there watching it. We were watching Clemson on the floor. We were making fun of the dude. We were like, who is this? Like, who is this guy or whatever? And looked him up and it was like, oh no, like he's actually a baller, like a double machine. He's a really good player or whatever. And then, to see that it's nuts. And he was one of those dudes who entered the transfer portal without eligibility in case they get that 5th year approved down the road or whatever. And Dabo just swooped him up, man. So that's a good one, John. I like that a lot. I'm really anxious to see how that works out for him. It's good stuff. He already looks the part. I do just wish it would have been cool if he would have figured this out earlier and got in on a little bit of spring ball, get a couple practices under his belt now, because it's going to be tough for him to join, Clemson, only have fall practices to figure some things out. I know he'll do like, the summer workouts that they can do or whatever, but it's going to be tough for him to get on the field given the circumstances. It'll be cool though, for sure.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Is that, I think that's a fair heavy. I already know where Andrew's going. I'm almost positive I know where he's going.
Do you?
I think so.
My brother in Christ, I never know where Andrew's going. So
I'm choosing Anthony Edwards for owning LeBron and the Lakers as my heavy hitter, and taking his lap around the arena after the game and everything. I mean, it was awesome. He's the future, man, and the future is now. Like he's just that dude. I love Anthony Edwards. Some questionable, decision making outside of basketball, maybe, but hey, who am I to judge? So good on him. That was awesome. And if Andrew's sticking in the NBA, I think I know where he's going.
You think I'm going Amen Thompson?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wasn't planning on it. Amen was awesome. What do you have? 5 steals in 13 minutes or something crazy like that? Like he's a grown man out there, man. It's really good. I'm glad that he's good at basketball because Taylen Green is not outside of that one game. But anyway, no, Moses Moody also scored 25 points. Definitely got to give him some props. It was in garbage time. Let's be honest. Moses Moody was a garbage time merchant, but how many people can say they scored 25 points in an NBA playoff game that Steph Curry played in also? I'm about to rattle off a bunch of. John, are we doing is there a BetSaracen segment coming at some point?
Yep.
Okay, then I'll save some of those for that, because I've just got a lot of the BetSaracen specials caught my attention today. I don't want YouTube to shut us down, but let's just say that I think that Arkansas Razorbacks going to have some hitters that do some things. But I'm gonna will Rocco Pepe into existence. I'm not gonna do him for Saracen, but Rocco Pepe, it's got to be this weekend, brother. Gabe Frazier's banged up. Sousa's out for the year. We need you. Reese Robinette might get a start. Honestly, it's very possible. But I think, again, there's going to be at least one left-handed starter. Rocco Pepe, we need you. If ever there was a time, please, right now.
It's your time to shine. No, we are going to look at some of those specials. I know it will be a What's More Likely presented by BetSaracen, but yeah, we'll get into some of those as well. But real quick though, I wanted to bring it up before we move on that, so like David was just asking, he's like, hey, what position could Lawson Blake play? And here's the deal. Like somebody maybe said in the chat, if it's a basketball player, I'd say like 90 to 95% of them would be a tight end. Like it's either tight end or wide receiver. Maybe a quarterback, like if you have a Matt Jones, or a Brandon Mitchell, who also played that. But I'm just thinking about it from the Arkansas perspective. But all the players that played football and basketball, almost all of them were either quarterbacks or tight ends. What's your guess? Well, Marcus Monk was a wide receiver, so I guess he would count. But
I'm surprised we haven't had any edge rushers. But I guess really it's like you got to be thick enough.
Yeah.
But I feel like tight end and edge rusher are like the easiest positions to project in football. I know there's a lot of technique that goes into it, but it's like for those two positions, you basically just have to be the right body type and athletic build. Like there really is nothing else to it.
Yeah. And also I was curious about this, and it's probably going to come off as insulting, but I was curious your guys' thoughts when you're talking about this kid with Clemson and everything. Like who would you say is the player in any sport that you always think about of a player that does not look the part whatsoever, but is incredible? Like, Jokic is obviously a very good example of dude just is big, but you would not think he's one of the greatest players in the NBA right now. Like, but is there any player that comes to mind, whether it's Arkansas or not, that you just think of, this guy does not look like he would be as amazing as he is at this sport?
Yeah, Joker's a good one. Luka. Any fat basketball player, it feels like, is pretty much qualifies there. I'm trying to think about other sports though.
So Curtis, you know who weirdly came to my brain? Your buddy Lance Lynn. I feel like his body type for pitchers. There's a lot of pitchers that you would be like, really, this guy? But like Lance Lynn is like one of the most electric arms ever. You know what I mean? Like that dude's awesome. But he doesn't certainly later in his career, he doesn't look like he would be as good at pitching as he is. I feel like there's some good baseball ones, but
Lance
I'm trying to
Lynn
and think of any other ones.
Lance Lynn and Johnny Peralta love the old Casino Queen in East St. Louis. So
what about Bartolo Colon? Like
Bartolo Colon's a good one. Yeah,
he's out there looking like that. I even felt like Roger Clemens towards the end of his career. He was still really good, but it was like he was.
Where's Quinn? Who was the hefty fellow from Auburn?
Oh,
years ago. Baseball player.
Teixeira,
yeah.
Yeah, he was a unit, bro.
Yeah,
massive human being.
Yeah, Arkansas needs one of those guys because I feel like there's never been really one Arkansas player that was that like just a big dude. I mean, they had big dudes, but I'm talking about like to that level of just every time you see him, you're like, oh yeah, that guy does not look like he would be, he doesn't hit the gym very often, but he can just.
What's crazy is Arkansas sports, I feel like, has had a lot of guys who like look like they were made in a lab. Like Arkansas's had like some special specimen athletes. Like I was just watching Darren McFadden's the video they put out of all of his touchdowns. I'm just like it's crazy that this guy played football at Arkansas. Like, he looks like a robot.
Couple baseball ones. Tim Lincecum.
Yep.
And with his funky delivery, it was like, how is this dude doing what he's doing? This is kind of crazy. And then I only bring up Prince Fielder just to remind everyone of the body issue.
Yes,
that he did.
Oh man, I saw a video of the other day. Prince Fielder. Just a legend. I love watching him play. I saw a video of him where he like went to go track down a fly ball or down a foul ball down the line and grabs a nacho from the fans nachos and just eats it on his way back to first base. Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah, Prince Fielder is a good one. Although, like, I got to be honest, first base, like, that's kind of what you want him to look like. Like, baseball is a sport where, like, you kind of – so Prince Fielder, like, weirdly enough, even though he doesn't look like an athlete, you're like, yeah, he's probably could probably swing it.
Yeah. There's a few good examples of it. But, yeah, I was trying to think when you brought up made in a lab, Andrew, because I also watched that Darren McFadden thing. I try to explain to kids these days. It's like, the dude had the tiniest little legs, like these little chicken legs. But his upper body and shoulders was the big, like it literally looked like he looked like a gladiator of just like that. And yeah, seeing the way he just plowed over people. Yeah, again, you just take it for granted. It's not like I'm sitting here being like, hey, did you guys know Darren McFadden was good? It's like, yeah, everyone knows how great he was, but I'm with you. It was like the guy ran a 4.3, was 6'1", and the amount of people he ran over, like he was running over SEC linebackers, and they were scared to death of him. So. But maybe Arkansas get one of those events someday.
I was going to say, imagine what Taylen Burks would have looked like if they could have got him off the duck blind.
Man, true. That dude that's another thing about it. Speaking of him, that dude outran the entire Alabama defense in that play. I was like, anyone ever thought he didn't have the speed, man? He just outran the entire Alabama defense on that, and that's hard to do. So, man, yeah, they've had some good ones there too. All right, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of what's more likely, presented by our friends over at BetSaracen, the number one sports betting app here in the state of Arkansas. It's not even close. Check it out today. They do have the specials going on. Which, before we get to what's more likely, though, Andrew, which ones were you looking at? Because I had two I was going to bring up. I want to hear which ones you were trying to think of.
Okay, so I don't know who's going to start in right field, whether it's Kendall Diggs or Carson Bowles, but either one of those. Maybe you just wait until you see the starting lineup. You'll have to check at 5 o'clock and then get it in quick. But Carson Bowles is plus 900 to hit a home run. And now he's not like the most powerful hitter, but he hit like 3 or 4 home runs in the spring and fall. Has, I think, 2 this year. And he's a good hitter, and he might start in right field and be a guy that I feel like he could hit a home run. And 9-1. I really like those odds. Rocco Pepe is also 9-1 to hit a home run, and he might start at first base. If Gabe Frazier is able to play, he's also 9-1 to hit a home run. So it's like, I think you might have to just see what the lineup is, but I think there's some high value options there that you can check out. I think I really like this one that's not as high value. Vahiva Aloy and Brent Iredale combined over 1.5 RBI, over 1.5 base on balls. That's either one of those guys could do that by themselves.
Yeah.
Like Brent Iredale's had probably like 20 games this year where he's walked twice and still driven in a couple runs. I mean, both of those guys could do that with one swing. The 2 RBIs is easy. And they both get walked a good bit. Brent Iredale damn near has more walks than he does hits. I really like that one a good bit. I also like there's one that's 10-1, and it's Vahiva Aloy and Cam Kojal both to homer. 10-1. I like that a lot.
I do too. That was one of the ones I was going to bring up. But the other one at plus 325, Ryder Helfrich over a half home run. The Buster Posey catcher of the year candidate.
One of these guys we just listed is homered.
Yeah, gonna happen. Absolutely. So yeah, you can check out those specials, folks. BetSaracen.com. Download the app on your iPhone or on your Android. It is BetSaracen. So a couple, little bit of what's more likely, just a few of them. And if you have any in the chat that you want us to answer, that you come up with some really banger ones, we'll try to get to those as well. But speaking of Razorback baseball, I got 2 of them that kind of go hand in hand. But we'll start this one about what's more likely: Arkansas sweeps Texas or Texas sweeps Arkansas?
Texas sweeps Arkansas because they've only lost 2 SEC games the whole year. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just said it was going to be the other way around, but
I know. I get your point. The only thing I would say with Texas is that, like, I feel like they have, like, really, I mean, no doubt about it, they've overachieved. As much as crazy it is that they're 19-2, I don't think Texas is good enough to be 22-2. Like, I just don't think that's possible with this roster. Like, it doesn't make sense. They're like the 7th most talented roster in the SEC. So that's kind of the standpoint I'm coming from, and bias, and Arkansas being at home. They're not about to get swept here. I'm going Arkansas sweeps Texas because I think I don't think it's super likely, but I actually think it could happen this weekend, and I don't think they're going to get swept.
Well,
this is a weird one because, like, the reality is you're going to have 3 close games. Either team's going to dominate.
Yeah. But I'll throw this out here. And this is why I'm choosing Arkansas for this rationale and this rationale only. Arkansas swept Texas in basketball. They're going to do it in baseball too.
That's good.
That's the only reason.
Fair. Yeah.
Yep. It's the only reason why is because
foolproof logic right there.
Right. Yeah. Can't argue that, can you? But because it's spring sports. So Arkansas is on a roll against Texas here in 2025. So I feel like it's more likely for them. So that being said, though, if it's not a sweep, and then just ends up being 2-1 either direction. What's more likely? Arkansas wins game 1 or a game 3 against Texas?
Wait a minute. So we're saying it's like a series. Like we're saying Arkansas wins, and they're going to win the series against Texas. Which one do they win outside of that, or what?
It's just more of, hey, if between these 2 games, if you were going to bet on Arkansas to win one of them, which one would you feel like more likely would be the one they win? The first game or the last game?
I'm going to go last game. And here, the only reason I'm saying it, and I don't know all that much about Texas baseball, okay? But I know that they've got a TBD on their starter also. And I just naturally, when you see that, you're like, ooh, is that situation shaky? I like Arkansas's TBD potential there better than I think I like Texas. That's all.
No, that's fair.
I don't know if that's valid or not, but that's how I feel.
I mean, last week their starter, they've only gone 1 week without their Friday night starter who got injured. I believe it was 2 weeks ago against Auburn. The guy that started on Sunday for them went 1 inning, and then they pieced together the rest of the game. Now on the flip side, Arkansas's Sunday starter went 2 innings last week in Landon Beidelshees. But I agree with 100% with that sentiment that, like, Arkansas's TBD might be Gabe Gackle, or it might be Landon Beidelshees. Or Ben Bybee, a guy who's thrown the ball really well. I think Ben Bybee's ERA in SEC play, y'all know what it is? 3.00. It's exactly what I thought. Like, it's like kind of in your brain. You're like, it's about how well he's thrown. I've never seen someone whose stats tell the story more than Ben Bybee. Like, he's just been solid. But I do agree. There's just a lot more stability. The one thing that I think about with this equation, so Texas has the best bullpen pretty much in the country, but they have a 2-headed closing monster, one of which is a freshman left-hander who throws like 88, but he's just disgusting, has an ERA under 1. They use him twice every single weekend. Every single weekend in SEC play, they've used him twice, except for one, and it was early. They're going to use him twice. And so I don't know if they'll use him game 1 or game 2, but I know they're going to use him game 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing I can think of. But I I think the guy that's starting tonight for Texas has a very high floor. He's not going to have a bad outing against Arkansas. And I think Root's probably going to pitch well too. But like, there's a lot more stability in Texas's pitching situation in game 1 and game 2. Like, it's a pretty big drop off.
Well, here's my thing. It's because I feel like Arkansas is going to win this series. Even if it's not a sweep, I feel like they're going to win. I'm going to go with game 3 just because I just don't see, like, I don't see, or I should say, how should I word this? I feel like there's no way that Texas wins game 1 and game 2, and then Arkansas sneaks up and wins game 3. So I guess I'm saying it's more likely they win game 1 because of that fact. I feel like if Arkansas loses game 1 and 2, they're getting swept. That's just how I feel. But I feel like they're not going to get swept regardless. And because of that, I feel good about them winning tonight, which would make tomorrow's, assuming that it happens, oh, God, just give me a rubber match for Saturday, dude. That'd be so much fun. Do that.
Hey, if Arkansas is going to sweep this series, they got to win tonight. You know,
that's true. The math adds up, and I'm glad Andrew froze right there because I knew he was going to say something smart, Alex. So I'm glad that he froze up right there. Yeah. Also, okay, how about this one? These are just a couple of random ones too. Well, actually, we'll just do this one. What's more likely, a Razorback to win the NFL MVP, the NBA MVP, or the MLB MVP? I should have said first. Like, what would be the one that they would win first?
Arkansas does not have an NBA MVP candidate. They have a lot of pretty solid NBA players. None of them are going to win the MVP ever. That's not a bold take. That's just the first that came to mind. That's the most unlikely, I feel like. I don't know who would win NFL MVP, though. Traylon Burks?
Yeah. I mean, Hagen Smith's going to win the Cy Young one day, but he ain't going to get MVP. So
there's not that many pitchers that win MVP, but Hagen really might be their clearest path.
I might go NBA just under the thought process that Cal's going to keep getting these top end guys the next few years, and one of them will be that dude. Yeah. Just because I don't see a clear. I mean, they're obviously not clear, but I don't even see a rational take for any of these right now.
Yeah, I guess basketball might actually be the default answer.
That's a good one. That's a really good question.
No, yeah, it is. I saw where's Logan's chat at here? Logan said, I mean, pro hog Shea though.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah. I would, the only reason I brought it up is like, cause you guys kind of mentioned it, but it was like, I know the unlikelihood of it happening because it hasn't happened. And honestly, like, I don't even know who would have been the closest one to winning one of them.
Lance Allworth.
I mean, like, legitimately might be. Like, I just don't think that there's been, like you said, the Cy Young winners, but like, as far as the hitters go, I don't think anyone's really been that close. You know, maybe Ashton Kjerstad really turns it up and gets it going, but
Joe Johnson maybe finished like 9th in MVP voting one year. Like, he's probably one of the closer ones in school history. And yeah, I don't know. Basketball, you know what I think about it, Curtis? I think basketball really might be the answer. Because I mean, you know, Cal's due in the next 3 years to get like a number 1 overall player in the class type of guy. Hell, maybe Darius Acuff is just going to be Dame Lillard.
I mean, might be.
That'd be cool.
But no, I think. Listen, I'm going to say basketball just because I just don't see Calipari going more than a few years without having an MVP in the NBA. I'm just saying, like, it's just not going to happen, man. He's not going to let that happen.
Kareem Rattel's coming.
Thoughts?
Viva Loy, MLB MVP in 6 years. Hey, listen, if there's anybody that's going to have the best shot at it that I feel good about the future of it, it's him.
I tell you, man, I will give not just Arkansas's baseball program, but just SEC baseball in general. The fact, like, some of these guys are making such quick transitions, it's really impressive. Like, seeing what Skeens has done, I feel like has really opened our eyes to be like, holy cow, these dudes that are playing SEC right now could be winning MVP in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, that's what sometimes I got to remind myself of, like, watching whenever I watch like a Major League Baseball game, and I see there's a lot of guys who didn't go to college, you know, just went straight out. But it's amazing just to see guys. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember watching him play when he was over at Georgia years ago. Like, just it's amazing how many pros that they put out there and how many good ones are out there too, and you know, and everything. But yeah, I don't know. An MVP would be cool anyways, no matter what. But yeah, I can't wait to troll if a former Cal player ends up winning a MVP that's not from Arkansas. I'll just be like, pro Hogs, man. This is what Cal does. Appreciate him being a hog.
That was a great what's more likely.
Thank you. I came up with that one myself. I didn't have to cheat.
Yeah, don't give the research team credit for that one for sure.
Yeah, just got to give it to him. All right, we'll get to a few of your chats, folks, and we'll get out of here after here in a little while. But let's see. Dave wants to know, Andrew, any update on Wiggy?
Yeah, so the update we got yesterday from Dave Van Horn was a positive one, but Dave made it very clear he was not going to celebrate. He did get they did an initial MRI on his elbow and did not find a tear, which is good news, right? But they're going to do the test with the dye, which should be able to isolate. Yeah. They should give them a better chance of finding a tear that way. Even if that one comes back clean, I still think you're going to look at a little bit of a rest period, a rebuild period. So I wouldn't be holding my breath if I were a Hog fan, like waiting on when is Carson Wiggins going to pitch next weekend? Is he going to pitch in Hoover or whatever? Like, I would probably just wait. The best case scenario here is that you're avoiding surgery altogether. I mean, this is a guy that's draft eligible next year. So you don't want to like think about it, but it's like, if he does have Tommy John surgery, there's a very real chance he's thrown his last pitch at Arkansas, which would be extremely unfortunate and just like a bummer. And so we'll just kind of wait in there. We'll knock on wood. We'll keep our fingers crossed, but, hopefully that dye test comes back negative, and then they maybe can rest him and maybe start ramping him up and see if there's any soreness. But with a 19-year-old throwing 102, it's like that elbow. It's like it just feels like it's never going to be something you can feel super confident in. So I wouldn't be celebrating just yet.
Would you feel like the odds are higher that he does not pitch again this season than he does? That's That's kind of how I feel. Even if he avoids, the nasty word, the TJ there, it's like you said, young guy that's throwing that hard, and where did that pitch hurt you, and you touch that particular spot, that man, they're going to be so cautious with that.
Especially because think about it, say that let's say Monday they get the results and they're like, hey, he's 100% clear, 0 MRI, we've done every test possible. Okay, he's probably not going to get back to throwing really until maybe that weekend where he'll start lightly tossing, maybe throwing a medicine ball, ready doing whatever. He probably wouldn't really start throwing from a mound again for 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, in which case you're getting into the postseason. Are you really about to just launch him right back in? Maybe they would. I mean, hell, he was closing games for them. They clearly trust him a lot. He's one of their better arms, no doubt about it. I just think the likelihood of that happening are pretty low, even if there is no tear.
Also, I wanted to bring up a few of these because we'll have some other ones, but since it's what's more likely, we had some people bring up on what's more likely. How about David? What's more likely? Arkansas will not hit a home run this series, or Arkansas will hit 8+ home runs this series?
Dude, so it's interesting. Texas is not only they have the lowest opponent's batting average in the SEC, they've given up the fewest singles in the SEC, they've given up the fewest doubles, they've given up the fewest triples, and they've given up the fewest home runs. They don't give up a ton of power. I still think 8 home runs is more likely because I think there's maybe some correction due for that. I don't know if their park is just playing big or something, but it does seem like they've gotten a lot of luck in that regard.
I'd agree. What's more likely? Taylen Green makes an all-SEC team, or Arkansas has any player on defense make an all-SEC team?
I think they will have a player on defense make an all-SEC team.
Sorry, mate.
Yep.
I think Sorry's probably the most likely out of the entire roster, right?
I think so.
Devin Bale.
Well,
yeah. I'm still going to keep throwing that because no one ever thinks about it, but I'm still just trolling. But yes, no, I think offensive defensive wise, yes. Although I'll say that I think Taylen Green ends up being 3rd in passing in the SEC at the end of the season. I will say that.
So if there's an outlet that does like 4 all SEC teams, he'll get on one of them.
Yes, exactly. The Bleacher Report or whoever throws
Sporting
out
News will do a 5th team quarterback. Sporting News.
Athlon. Like I think Athlon's the one that does a lot of those too. So yeah, but yeah, I'm agree with there. Our guy Trey just what's more likely, Arkansas to win the College World Series or football to go 10-2? Arkansas to win the College World Series, and I don't even think that's close.
Minus 350.
Is this a bit? Like,
yeah. Like you could have said Arkansas wins the next 3 College World Series, and then Arkansas goes 10-2.
You could say, what's the percent Arkansas to win the College World Series, or this coin I flipped to land on tails, and I'd probably say College World Series.
That's exactly right. David also says, what's more likely, we see Hunter Dietz before the end of the year, or we see Carson Wiggins before the end of the year?
This is a great question, and I got to tell you, the answer is Hunter Dietz, and I actually don't even think this is like that hard of a one to sell. One, he was literally about to pitch in a game the other day, had a freaking band mount hit him in the face. But Dave said yesterday that he threw in a live session Tuesday, and it was the best he's looked since he's returned from injury. He is available. He's on the roster this weekend tonight. That doesn't mean we're going to see him, but I think they're going to try, because Dave even alluded to it in his press conference. He's like, we just need to get him out there, and then we can work. And hey, if he throws bad this week, maybe he'll throw bad. Like, he even kind of mentioned that they want to ramp him up a little bit. Like, they want to get him those reps. That's the only downside of the midweek game, is because he would have thrown Tuesday for sure. But I mean, hey, he made his debut last year in a 6-4 game in the 8th inning against LSU against Tommy White. That was the first hitter he faced in his college career. So I don't think they're going to be like worried about, oh crap, can we pitch him? Especially if they can find a situation where one team is up by 4 or 5 this weekend. I think there's a high likelihood, like over 50%, that we see Hunter Dietz this weekend at Baum Walker.
Well, there you have it. And also, so you got some basketball questions for old Curtis here, like mic'd up. Or Mike teed up, I guess is close enough. Hypothetical for Curtis. Say we got Bob and Jameer. How much would that cost? And would that put us in the conversation for preseason number 1?
That would be a lot of Florida State, man. A lot of Florida State on the Razorback roster. And here's the thing. Sign me up for it, man, for both of those dudes. Baba Miller, who he's talking about, by the way, 6'11" forward that can, step out and shoot 35% from 3. He's an absolute menace defensively. He was pretty good at Florida State, and he played at FAU this past year, and I thought was really good there. He was probably the best of the the final day additions to the transfer portal. And then obviously Jameer Watkins, who we've talked about a lot, is one of the best guys still available, who's also going through the draft process. How much would that cost? Jameer Watkins is going to be one of those guys that I think the conversation with him starts at about 2.5 and goes from there. Like, he's going to cost some money, and Baba Miller ain't going to be cheap. Like, if you could get them both for 4, that's a bar, but it would probably cost you more than that, honestly, to land both of those guys. If they did, would that put Arkansas in the conversation for preseason number 1? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're already in the conversation for preseason top 10. And so, if you bring Carter Knox back, and then you add, Baba Miller in there to kind of roam in the front court, and you got Jameer Watkins who can play multiple positions, they'd have more talent than they knew what to do with. I mean, it'd be a ridiculously gifted team. They'd be up there in the most retention of any team in the SEC or the country from a team that actually played well last season. They would have one of the top 5 incoming freshman class in the country. And then with those two guys, they'd have a top 5 portal haul in the country. It would be ridiculous. And people are like, oh, that's way too many guys. Oh my God. What are they going to, a depth chart? Oh no. Is somebody's feelings going to be hurt? It'd be 10 dudes in your rotation. If they did that, it'd be 10. That's all we're talking about here. So, I think it would be awesome. It ain't happening, but they could do it. And yeah, they'd be a preseason number 1 candidate for sure.
I couldn't handle it. I could not handle if they were number 1 preseason.
I don't want to
do it. No, it's just because that's just like, oh man, I just thinking about me gives me anxiety, just the pressure that'd be on. But it'd be fun to see that number 1 next to him, and everything too. And then also, only top preseason top 10 that matters is John Rothstein's, because he has Arkansas number 10. That's the only one I care about. So it's the correct one.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's the correct one. Let's see. Also, Nep says odds we land JJ Andrews. I think that's his name. It is his name.
I'm probably kind of in coin flip territory there. It's people just, I think, assumed, given his family ties there, that it'd be a given for Arkansas. And it's very much not. In fact, I think that there was a crystal ball prediction placed for him today for Missouri. And it's Missouri, Arkansas, and LSU that are his finalists there. There are some factors behind the scenes at play that could swing that back in favor of Arkansas. But right now, I would probably call it a coin flip. But I would also say, just because some guy for Missouri put in a crystal ball, that I wouldn't say it's a done deal. I don't think this is over. So, boy, you would like to say, oh yeah, it's done. He's all hog, man. But it's really a way tighter race than you would expect for the son of Sean Andrews.
Is it fair to say, Curtis, that like you're looking at those other schools that probably like need JJ Andrews a little more, that like you feel a little bit more coveted from a school that you're kind of like, that's going to be the most talented recruit either of those schools land You know what I mean? I wonder if that plays into it a little bit where, JJ probably just wants to, even though he probably has some love for the Hog, he wants to feel like that kind of target, everybody would.
They probably are and can promise him more by way of, immediate role and NIL. And I'm not saying Arkansas doesn't have it, but I mean, they're going to be throwing those big bags at top 10 guys. I mean, it's just, it's kind of the way it is. And, I'm with you 100%, Andrew. I do think that kind of factors into it for sure.
And I'll just throw it out there where I don't know if this is true or not, but it just feels like it is. I'm wondering if he came to Arkansas, like, I feel like Shawn Andrews has not been around Arkansas's program at all, like ever since he left. And I'm not saying in a bad way. Just, they always have a lot of former players that will come back, football, basketball, baseball, honoring all that. And he's been out of the league for a while, but I just don't remember a time that he's ever come back, been honored. Maybe he likes to stay in the shadows. I don't know, but that would be interesting to see how much he would be involved or at least be present and talked about and everything. Greatest Razorback offensive lineman ever.
And I will say, I just want to see. Okay, yeah, and so if I'm just reading into his most recent social media post correctly, he's going to run it back at Little Rock Christian for his final year. And a lot of the discussion yesterday, there was some thought there that he might be transferring to a school in Northwest Arkansas, and that would put the Razorbacks in much more of a prime position to land him. Well, he's running it back at Little Rock Christian. Obviously, that didn't happen. So does that mean a decision's made or that has changed things? I don't know. But it's also not like he's transferring out of the state and going to one of these prep schools either. You know what I mean? So take that for what it's worth. But part of what I was hearing was that he might wind up, up here somewhere as opposed to staying at Christian. It doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Thought they might ship him to boarding school like they did Moses Moody.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, I was about to bring up, I was like, hey, yeah, it didn't work out too well for the last big time player that they had transferring from Central Arkansas to Northwest Arkansas, Malik Monk. That didn't work out for him coming to Arkansas. So, all right, a few more here before we roll out here for the day. I guess you kind of talked about this, but Great Vogue is like, do you think we're going to get any more additions to the team? Don't get me wrong, we got a stellar team already. I just figured there would be a couple more gets.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think Arkansas is gonna make more additions. Well, they're absolutely are. Like, they're gonna fill out the back end of the roster for sure. But I do think they're gonna make at least one more meaningful addition to the rotation before they get into the filling out the end of the bench with the depth kind of things. I don't believe that they're done, nor do I believe that they should be done. So I know that people are just kind of anxious, and you're seeing a bunch of guys come off the board and everything like that. But as I was told in the message that I've tried to deliver since they backed off of Chad Baker-Mazara and everything, was that they're not in a hurry, man. I mean, like, they're very happy with what they have. That doesn't mean that they're done. It just means that they're really going to take their time and identify the exact right fits that they want and everything. They'll probably wait out these guys who are in the draft and see what becomes available, but it's going to be a little bit of a process, I think, before that happens. So as you see guys come off the board, I know it's easy to just be like, oh, I guess they're done. But I don't think that that's the case.
I just want to throw this out here real quick. I don't know if you saw it, Curtis, but Razorback men's basketball just tweeted it out. It says, as of this very moment, the most returners since the 2019-2020 season. And I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder what happened in that stretch. But it's like returning over 40% of the scoring and returning over 45% of the minutes. So
I like that.
So they're including Carter Knox, eh?
They're not.
No.
Oh, they're not. Okay.
With Carter, it's even higher. Yeah, on this graphic, it's got Trevin, Billy, DJ, and Jaden Carletla. Hell yeah, man. Good for him. I love that they put him on here. Hey, he played. He played at South Carolina, and he got in another game. Did he play against Mississippi State for like 30 seconds or something?
He did, yeah.
All the foul trouble. Yeah, so he did played in SEC games. Give him his flowers. I like that.
I wonder.
And I absolutely love that they said as of this very moment they're toying with us a little bit.
Yeah. That's why it was all in caps too. Make sure you saw it. But I did laugh because I'm wondering if you did take off Jaden from that graphic, would the numbers change? It wouldn't change. It'd still be like 40% of the scoring, 45%.
Yeah, I mean, if we're rounding up here, probably not.
Yeah, that's okay though. I'm glad I'm with you. I'm glad that they got him his stuff there too. So All right. Well, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
Not really. I'm looking forward to getting out there to Baum with you guys and watching Arkansas beat Texas. That's pretty much it. And like we said at the very beginning of the show, it's very nice to see the sun out again and have this baseball game going on at the same time. It's pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It's not too late to listen to the Bombastic Podcast weekend preview episode. Came out yesterday. Been tinkering with a little bit of a later start time, making it almost like an evening show. Put it out at 5 every day, just because 3:30 is kind of a weird time. So I was like, you know what, post work thing. But everybody go check that out, because if you want to know about the series, if you're going to be watching the games, and some of you, maybe casual fans that don't watch as many, I try to put a lot of research into the weekend previews to actually know what's going on with the other team, and it's an interesting matchup that is closer than the overall record, or the record lately would maybe lead you to believe. And so go check that out. Watch the Razorbacks tonight. We'll have a recap later tonight on the Bombastic Podcast. Looking forward to it.
There you have it. Yeah, it's going to be fun tonight with all of us being there. Just make sure if you see Andrew or Curtis, ask for a picture. They will give you it. So make sure you make that happen, and we'll have a lot of fun. It should be a great night. And of course, we're going to be back here tomorrow for Inside Arkansas Live. And of course, check out the Bombastic Podcast and Pod at the Palace each and every day. So appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. We're very close to 10,000 subs. And also shout out to everybody that became a member today. I wasn't even promoting it because I thought I was going to wait until next week to roll it out, but apparently it's live and a lot of you did. So we really appreciate that. And we're going to have some fun with that. So and I guess I myself need to go over a way of how you do it, because we had a lot of questions of people like not knowing how to do it. So we'll figure it out. We'll go with it. But either way, we appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to us, follow us on social media, Inside Arkansas, and we'll keep it going there. So for Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll see you then.